Hey guys, welcome back to ArtosisCasts and our deep dive into Stork. Been very fun watching some of his games so far. You know, the previous day we looked at a game on Roaring Currents, which is a fantastic map that we've all enjoyed very, very much. Really dynamic, interesting games. But now we're on Litmus, the other kind of new, a little bit weird map that went into ASL this past season. And I tell you, this map can go to hell. This is not a map. I don't know a single person that likes this map. I don't feel like the games have been that dynamic. I feel like almost every game on this map is just cheese and super one-sided. Yeah, I have seen almost no good macro games here. Just doesn't feel like there's a big variety of things that occur. Just like kind of timings, and that's about as far as you get. So anyways, it's Stork here in the bottom right, going up against Sharp in the top right. That's quite a nice match. I mean, generally I would favor Sharp a little bit here, but the way Stork has been playing lately, I'm not so sure of that. I don't feel like Sharp has been playing super well for the past few months, and yeah, Stork, I think, I'm oftentimes a big fan of his Protoss vs. Terran. So we'll see if he uses that great fundamental play here on Litmus. But yeah, looks like no quick probe scout or anything like that. So while we wait for things to happen, I want to thank you guys for tuning into ArtosisCasts. It's always very, very appreciated. I really like it when you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment. You guys are fantastic. Thank you so much for that. And of course, I do have a Patreon if you are interested, patreon.com/Artosis. You can check that out. Big thanks to everyone who has subscribed over on that Patreon. It is the best way to support me. So thank you. All right. Yeah, so a Zealot is on the way for Stork. Okay. Sharp just going down to Scout. By the way, I don't think that gasless expansion is any good on this map. I think that this is very much a factory expand map, which is why I'm a little bit confused that a Zealot's being made. It's not that you can't make the Zealot against factory expansion, but it doesn't feel particularly good. Doesn't feel like it really generally does anything. You have a very limited window before the Vulture is out to do anything with the Zealot, and generally it just takes some damage and runs away. So Sharp down here scouting Stork's base a bit. Stork going to get a probe on that and push him back. Factory almost halfway done. And we'll see if he goes third depot. I think he will, but you don't have to. With this timing where the Zealot is finishing as the core finishes, it's one Zealot. So you can go for just 4 Marines off of 2 depots and try to still expand quickly. Because it's like basically 3 Marines and SCV into the Vulture, and a Dragoon comes up to join this, the Protoss wins. But once you add the 4th Marine, the Terran wins. And that's with kind of standard micro on both sides. Obviously, there are ways to outplay or misplay. But just with kind of standard high-level micro. So you see he brings up this Dragoon. Sharp actually should have made the 3rd depot now. This has now turned into a mistake from him. It's impossible to convince me otherwise, because look, he's making this and he's got like 91 minerals, right? And he's gonna have to make a depot now because he's supply blocked. His add-on's going to finish. He's not gonna be able to make anything. Like, he can start mines, but he can't make a unit out of it. So yeah, like if it's gonna take that long to get down, you really do need to make the 3rd depot. And he's in fact gonna even maybe lose the Vulture. Oh, gets that inside, very important. I love it. This is actually, I think that's the right play for sure. The Vulture's that low, just go get it. But yeah, you can see Sharp is still supply blocked here on 26. Stork actually gaining a nice advantage here. You know, if you're going to go for the depot-less 4th Marine, you have to push down really, really quickly. And you need to aggressively trade to get that Zealot. Because you can see this is what happens otherwise. So what just happened there, by the way, is he brought this Dragoon up to take hits from the bunker so that this Dragoon could get out with more health. Because he had shields here, but not shields here. Good move. Mines, Siege Tank on the way. Looking at Stork space, Nexus, Robo, Citadel. Oh, he's going to DT drop. Actually, it kind of makes sense. Like, it's not a terrible place to DT drop, and here's why. You killed the first Vulture. You had a lot of Dragoon pressure, and your opponent went Siege Tank. So, like, there's going to be less mines on the map, less map awareness. It's a more defensive stance from Terran. Not a bad idea to go for quick DT and a drop, obviously. You know, this coming down, there's a decent chance that a single DT can wreck this push as well. He does have 4 Dragoons, so he can definitely slow the push, but this push should beat 4 Dragoons pretty handedly, especially when you have one this low on health. Notice he stands that in the back. Ooh, a little bit of miss micro there from Sharp for sure. His Marines are behind his Siege Tanks, which you never want. Definitely want those in front. Okay, lays a mine. Stork really focusing on that. I think he just tried to get the mine, but didn't quite get it. That's okay. Not a big deal. Those mines are close enough that they won't kill the DT. One will blow up the other, basically. Or you can do that as well. Ooh! That was good targeting. That could have gone very badly. Okay, picking off mines. Really important. Oh, that's just brutal. Great mine drag there. Well, no, the reverse of that. Great from Sharp that the mine did that. Now, the tank just being microed to buy a little bit of extra time. We'll jump up and see what Sharp has. He just now started the engineering bay. This is actually, like, the Vulture's running out. Okay, yeah, because he has some Vultures in the base. So what it looks like he's doing is saying, okay, we're going to make this so gross. We're both going to lose everything. But this is a great wall. I was going to say, with these 2 Vultures, like, if he gets in, this is a better play. But since he did not get in, and actually there are ways, you might be able to get this through there. If you didn't, it's good to just lay a ton of mines in your base. And then you can just build missile turrets randomly, and Protoss is going to have a hard time clearing. Okay, so those Vultures got cleared. These Vultures did not get through as of yet. And here's the DTs. It looks like they ate 1 mine while we were checking elsewhere. Double missile turret here is a little bit silly, but that's okay. Sharp just kind of spamming out detection as quickly as he can. Supply block here from Sharp. Very unfortunate. You know, it's a hectic, crazy game, so it's understandable. But he really needs mine or Vultures nonstop. And in fact, almost loses this factory. No mines in there to actually offensively lay to push the DTs out. Looks like he did get this to jump. By the way, you might be wondering why. This is not good anti-Vulture. It's very easy to jump over this. And I've actually heard that there's a way that you can spam stop and hold to get through there. And I've done it before, but it's not super reliable. At least my understanding of it, it's not super reliable. And I haven't seen pros consistently do it, so. Okay, Stork going to clear this pylon now. Oof. Mine's still hitting things. 29 probes to 41 SCVs. So even though some bad things have happened to Sharp here. Oh, this would be hilarious if he could somehow get one of these factories. 100 health. Even though some bad things have happened to Sharp, you know, he had DTs in his base. He took a bunch of damage. He was supply blocked for a while. I would actually put him at the advantage here. Just heavy speed Vultures with mines are going to do well because your opponent is going to be very low on Dragoons at the moment. So the Vultures can kind of dominate the map for a little bit. But Stork is... This is kind of an interesting way to go about this. I actually just got a little set of chills here. So he's going into Reaver after the DT drop, which is not very common. That is a very uncommon play. Normally DT drop either goes into like Psy Storm quickly or maybe Arbiter. But those are normally the ones to just go directly into Reaver and then have 4 gates. It's like, oh, this is kind of, it feels like it's a stabilizing play in a way where he's like, okay, he's going to give himself some extra tools. He's going to produce what he can produce on this kind of broken economy. And against some of these weirder, smaller factory count pushes that we might see in this situation where a lot of damage has been dealt on both sides. I think he's pretty good on holding it. 4 gates and the Robo making Reavers plus DTs. I don't think he's going to get pushed down, so pretty good. Really interesting choice there from Stork. That third command center still on the way. Ooh. Nice. I didn't think he was going to get that for a second, the way the vultures were sitting in front of the mine. Or the scarab. All right, so a very red Reaver gets retreated across. A little missile turret going down. Looks like Sharp just wants to set up his third base. Hey, maybe we'll actually get a nice macro game here. I could see this maybe getting into a normal macro game. Even though the game's been super weird so far. Stork being super aggro on this tank. Actually ends up getting it. And another tank going to go down on this side. Oh my god. Stork clearing all of the siege tanks out here. Now, he's obviously trading a lot of goons, so the vultures have a lot more potential now because of that. But just in the nick of time, the rallied out dragoons will push those back. So, Stork right now, coming up, there's not great anti-air here. He does have the Wraith, but it takes a moment for a Wraith to kill a shuttle. He tried to get up at the... Okay, it looks like the Wraith is actually going to do a fantastic job. Really good micro there. Puts on good damage to that shuttle, but it will get saved by the Dragoons. Third base is up and mining. More SCVs for Sharp right now, so definitely... When I... Just looking at the numbers, this looks like it should be able to be turned into a victory by Sharp. This building layout is terrible. His building layout here is so bad. It's going to be like 3 screens of macro. Normally, Sharp is known for having kind of too many screens for his macro. You want to try to centralize production so that you can do it faster. When your buildings are kind of all over the place, right? Like, look, this is the size of an actual screen in StarCraft. Okay. Okay, we can fit... Okay. We can fit these. But then you have these down here, and it's like, ugh, it's getting gross. Anyways, looking at Sharp Space, he's getting his factory count up. I don't see a science... Oh, no, there is the science. Perfect. Yeah, this looks really good for Sharp right now. Looks really good for Sharp. Stork, I would say, is not dead. There's still play in the position. He's going to be getting a 4th base. Now, I've talked a lot about the way I think Litmus should probably be played positionally if it goes into a macro TVP, but we've seen basically none of those. So in my opinion, this is correct. You just set up really strong. And what I think you do from this as a third base is you push directly south and eliminate this and take this. And that's your 4th. I think... Pretty decent storm drop comes out. Brings him down to 59. Doesn't kill quite as much as he was looking for. Pretty good pull from Sharp. Very red SCVs there. Anyways, I think that turns into a good 4th, and then you knock this out, and then you kind of have control of this general area. So Protoss has to go into this area where it gets kind of tight. So I from there, you know, obviously there's a lot of ways it could develop, but I feel like that's probably the right way. Now, Sharp, there's a possibility, because I've seen some people try to push in this direction and take that, but that's like, you're kind of giving Protoss like a lot of different angles that they can come in on. Instead of, this is super defended and I'm pushing this way. So it's like, well, you can go all the way around, I guess. Or hit my most defended area. All right, shuttle gets backed up. I've been talking a lot of theory lately. Hope you guys don't mind. It's kind of me like, I don't know. This is part of what I really love about StarCraft is trying to think like, oh, in theory, this would be really good. Like, how should you play this type of position? Or like, what does this shape on the map actually entail as far as the right way to set up or battle or expand? I think it's awesome. All right, so Stork is going to open up the left side of the map, which I think this is what you should do as Protoss. especially based off of what I said. If Terran decides to dominate the right side, as I've suggested, it's really important to kill off the temples, excuse me, and have a lot of free unit flowing on the left-hand side. You want to be able to very quickly respond to things over there. Now, Sharp has a huge amount of supply. 180 to 145. This is like an insanely strong timing that he has. His +2 not done yet, but it is on the way. Kind of moving back and forth with this army. I think he's been scanning and checking where Stork is at. Stork's army is not actually that scary. The Psy Storms are the only really scary parts. Like kind of just gateway units plus Psy Storms. So gets a decent Psy Storm down there. Ooh, does not get the second. I think this game's super close to done. Looks to me like Stork has been outdone here. So Sharp is getting ready for this push. Being up 40 supply, we have to assume that he's going to, or expect that he will push down and be able to break everything at this point. I think this defense has to go perfectly right now from Stork. He's going to go ahead and bomb some Zealots on top of the Siege Tanks, which is kind of nice. Ooh, really quality Psy Storm. But the army that remains here for Stork is so tiny. Has a few more units coming out. He actually made the supply, like he was down a lot more than that. So he's making it a little bit closer. Hey, really good final scarab there. But the Siege Tank push coming down to hit this 4th base. New base is being started over here. I don't know if he can save this base, though. I feel like he needs to have a chance in the game still. But a few Zealots coming in, not a lot else going on. And yeah, this next is going to be taken down. GG. Well, that was kind of an interesting game. You know, the DT drop, I don't hate the decision by Stork. I really don't. You know, he forced that tank. He had killed the initial vulture. It seemed like a reasonable time to try something like a DT drop. I don't think DT drops are particularly strong right now, but I think it is important to occasionally put stuff like that into your play. Like if your opponent knows that you never do something, like that just makes you weaker, right? So it's important to mix stuff like that in. But Sharp getting those extra vultures in, popping a vulture over the wall, getting all those extra probes, I think it just put Stork into a position where it was incredibly hard to come back. Interesting game, though. Hope that you guys enjoyed this one. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.